أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار وهو اللطيف الخبير ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صفيه وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وتركنا على محجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وأزواجه وأتباعه ومن صار على نهجه إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما وهو قال يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون وإن أصدق الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking His assistance and mercy. Whomsoever Allah guides, there is none to misguide him. And whomsoever Allah guides, there is no one who can lead him astray. We testify that there is no deity worthy of worship except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sovereign king, the one who is able to do all things, and there is none like him. And we testify that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the final messenger. He delivered the message in truth and left us on a clear white path. No one can go astray on except for the one who desires to do so. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, and I remind you guys, and the khatib reminds you every week, to implement taqwa into your life, God consciousness, fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And verily this is the same purpose for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribes fasting. And Allah says, "Ya, O you who believe, fasting is prescribed unto you, just like it was prescribed to those before you, so that you may become muttaqeen, or that you may attain some sort of taqwa, or attain some sort of God consciousness in your life." And so before I delve into that, I actually want to take a step back, and I want to say before I begin that the khatib who was supposed to give the khutbah today, you all know him, and he gives khutbah regularly, Sheikh Muhammad Sulaiman. He got into a car accident last night, and he wasn't able to do it. That's why I'm doing it. So I want you guys to all make sure to make dua for him, a dua shifa. He is okay. He's back at home, but he was a little injured. So please make sure you keep him in your du'as. اللهم اشفيه شفاء كاملا عاجلا مستقرا مستمرا. Returning back to the topic, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us that fasting is prescribed to you just like it was prescribed to those before you. And we use the word prescription or to prescribe it because it is meant to be a form of cleansing. And as we approach the month of Ramadan, how do we want to be before that month comes? How do we want to take on this month so that we may achieve the most we can in this month? And that we may come out on the other side forgiven, cleansed, purified, and ultimately better Muslims. And it is very important to understand how this happens. How can we enter Ramadan and leave Ramadan and make sure that we are forgiven? The Prophet ﷺ, he said, once he ascended the minbar, and he said, Ameen 3 times. And we've all heard this narration. And so the Sahaba asked him, why did you say Ameen 3 times? And the Prophet ﷺ said that an angel came to me and he made a dua. He says, may the face of the person who doesn't do this be thrown in dirt. The one who sees Ramadan, he enters Ramadan and he exits from Ramadan and he isn't forgiven. And so upon that I said Ameen, meaning the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I said Ameen to this dua. And so as we approach the month of Ramadan and we leave Ramadan, how can we make sure that we are forgiven in this month? One of the scholars I like to listen to, he gave a beautiful example. And in Arabic, it sounds also very beautiful. He says, Al-muqam fi turuqat liman sabaq, wal-muqam inda Allah liman sadaq. If you want to achieve something, if you want to set out to do something in life, you have to put forth the energy, the effort, you have to set off, and you have to actually go do it. When you all are going to leave here, you guys are all going to rush to your cars to get out to the parking lot and get out of here as fast as you can because you know there's a long traffic line and it takes some time. So you guys are going to go rush to do that. And so the point is, if you want to get somewhere in life, wherever you need to get to, you have to set out on that course. And the first one there is most likely going to be the first one who wins or who gets to his place wherever he needs to go first. But if you want to win with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you want to make sure you win with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not setting off on the road. It's not whoever gets there first. It's not about quantity. It's not about how much you can do, how many Qur'ans you can finish in Ramadan. It's not about how many minutes you can stand in prayer all night in Ramadan. But it is about how truthful you are in your worship. How sincere you are to yourself. As-sidq is very important. There's a reason why the Prophet ﷺ said about Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, as-siddiq, that if you were to take one of his good deeds on one end of the mizan, on one end of the scale, and take the rest of mankind's deeds on the other end of the scale, that one deed of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu would outweigh the rest of the people's deeds. There is a reason behind that. Because Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he was very true in what he believed in. When the Prophet ﷺ came to him And he says, verily, I've received revelation. He says, I believe you. That's it. I know you to be truthful. When the kuffar of the Quraysh, they came to the Prophet ﷺ, they came to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. He said, do you know what your companion has said? Do you know what he said? He said that he went in one night from Masjid al-Haram ila Masjid al-Aqsa. And then even beyond that, he went to the skies. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, what did he say? If he said it, can't be a lie. If he said it, it's true and I believe it. This is sidq. To understand, and it's also, the next level is to understand yourself. Before you approach Ramadan, take a look at yourself. Do some deep introspection. What are my mistakes? What are my sins? What are my faults? And many people think they have no faults. And many people think they have no sins. And many people think that they are the best people in the world. They walk into the masjid all very proud. You walk into the masjid very proud. I come for Isha every day, I can't have any problems. I come for Salah every day, I can't have any problems. But we all have problems. We all need to find out what those problems are, and we need to rectify those problems. Wallahi, the Prophet ﷺ said, Kullu ibn Adam khata'. That every son of Adam commits sin. No one is free from it. So before you enter into Ramadan, before you take on the month of Ramadan, you need to understand where you fall short. And when you can understand where you fall short, then you can make progress. For those in business, it's called a gap assessment. You perform a gap analysis to see how far you are from the benchmark. How far are you off from what is expected? And then you work on it, and you make progress, and you take slow steps to move forward. We need to do that gap analysis. We need to figure out where we need to improve. And I want to take this time to also address the community as a whole. We need to improve. I give an example. A couple of weeks ago, we had an imam candidate. And the imam candidate, he asked the community, he says, tell me about your community. And every single person mentioned good things about the community, and not one person decided to mention a fault or a flaw. And this in itself shows us our situation. That if you can't be honest with yourself, you won't make progress. We know that we are not perfect. We know this community is not perfect. And the community needs to realize that. And we need to take steps and move forward. Sometimes you can see it that, and I don't mean to point this out to anyone in Pacific, but we have an innate problem of racism in our community. That when a person, let's say he is not Arab, he steps on the minbar, the Arabs will look at him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know Arabic. He's not from our lands. What does he know? Instead of trying to figure out how is this khatib trying to purify me? How is he trying to show me the right path? We have the same problem, and the Indians have the same problem, and the Desis have the same problem. Everyone has this problem where they keep wanting to call to their own community and say, our community is better. We need to get rid of that mentality. The Prophet ﷺ, when Bilal radiallahu anhu, he climbs the Kaaba and he starts giving adhan, and one of the companions, he says, look at this black man climbing onto the Kaaba. How is this possible? And this is after he had accepted Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ went to him and he says, this after Islam? Verily, this is a matter of ignorance that you have brought into Islam. It has no place in this religion. We need to get rid of those problems that we have in our hearts. And the next thing we need to do before Ramadan comes in is we need to rectify our situations with everyone around us. If you have hurt somebody, if you have verbally hurt somebody or physically hurt somebody, you need to rectify the situation. Whether it's your relatives, whether it's the people around you, whether anyone you know, you need to fix it. You know, we just passed Sha'ban, or we're almost completing Sha'ban. There's a Sahih hadith which is authenticated by Imam al-Bani rahimahullah. He says, there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at all of the creation on the 15th of Sha'ban. He looks at all of the creation on the 15th of Sha'ban and He forgives every single one of them except for the mushrik and the mushahin. Except for the one who associates partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the one who carries animosity in his heart towards his brothers. Except for the one who carries animosity in his heart towards his brothers. Fix your relations with everyone around you. Rectify the situation. That is why that happens right before Sha'ban, right before Ramadan, so that you may walk into Ramadan with a pure, clean heart. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب واستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. Going back to the concept of having sidq in our hearts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He specifies the Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and He says, from the mu'mineen, there are a few people, رِجَالٌ صَدَقُوا مَا عَاهَدُوا اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ. They have fulfilled Allah's commandments. And they have been truthful to Allah's commandments. فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبَهُ. Some of them, they have already been killed in the battlefield. And then there are some who are waiting. وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. But they did not change the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They did not falter, they did not waver when it came time. My brothers and sisters, as Ramadan approaches, it is time to step up. It is time to make sure that we are at the tip-top, in tip-top shape to approach this month. And some advices of the Prophet ﷺ, and in words of encouragement from the Prophet ﷺ, so that you can enter this month and leave it forgiven. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, "Man sama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaba, ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi." That whoever fasts the month of Ramadan, imanan wa ihtisaba, with sincerity in his heart, and seeking reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive all of his sins. All of his past sins, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive it. Number one, fasting the month. The Prophet ﷺ then said, "Man qama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaba, ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi." Whoever stands in prayer in the nights of Ramadan, all 30 nights, imanan wa ihtisaba, with sincerity and seeking reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive all of his past sins. So number two, we have number one, fasting the month of Ramadan, standing in prayer in Ramadan. If you get tired, if you think that I have to go to work tomorrow, remember this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number three, which is even more specific, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man qama laylatul qadr imanan wa ihtisaba, ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi." Whoever stands on the night of Laylatul Qadr, and one cannot be sure what night Laylatul Qadr is, but it is in the last 10 nights. Whoever stands the night of Laylatul Qadr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive him all of his past sins. And all of Ramadan is for Laylatul Qadr. All of Ramadan is for one night. The night which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The night which is better than a lifetime worth of good deeds. Alfi shahr, 1,000 months. Equivalent to almost 80 some odd years. You want to catch up? You make sure you're ready for this Ramadan. You're prepared for this Ramadan. Brothers and sisters, please move forward. And there's a lot of space on this side as well. Please move forward. Now with that said, these three simple hadith, one can make sure that he enters and leaves Ramadan, but there are certain things he needs to do. He needs to make sure that he doesn't invalidate his fasts by harming others or cursing at others or engaging in conversations he doesn't need to engage in. Wallahi, the most fights happen in Ramadan in the masjid. The most fights occur during Ramadan in the masjid. Whether it's about moon sighting, whether it's about how many rak'ahs tarawih should be. And then at the end of the month again, moon sighting. And we engage in endless discourse, for which has been going on for 1400 years, and we still think one of them is right and the other one's wrong. And most of us don't even have the qualifications to talk about these things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says very importantly, He says, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلُّ ذَلِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. That don't engage in things which you have no knowledge about. Don't engage in anything you have no knowledge about. An interesting story about this ayah, one of the Mufassirun, he mentions a story before the time of Islam, when people didn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the stories they mentioned, the Mufassirun they mention, is that one of the wise people of previous times before Islam, he was approached with a question by the people. And this is related to a human being that has two private organs, meaning a male and a female organ. And he says, and they asked him, does this person receive the mirath, the what do you call it? The inheritance. How does this person inherit like a man or a female? Does this person inherit like a man or does he inherit like a woman? And you know there are separate rules. And so they became confused. And this man, he said he stayed 40 nights and he doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't believe in the day of judgment. He doesn't believe in any of these things. But he spent 40 nights thinking about this question. And he couldn't and it shows you the importance of talking about things that you have knowledge over and the importance of not talking about anything you don't have any knowledge over. If a person who doesn't believe in Allah, who doesn't believe in the final day, spends 40 nights on one question trying to come up with an answer, then what about the people who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believe in the final day of judgment, to give a verdict about something that Allah will judge him upon? So we have to be very careful about what the conversations we engage in during this month of Ramadan. The next thing is, when you come to Taraweeh, come with your hearts empty and don't come with full stomachs. Wallahi, one of the most disgusting things I find is that a person comes to Taraweeh and he starts praying and the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are being recited and the person next to you starts burping. Burping in salah, subhanallah. You would never do that in any public situation. You would never do that in any public situation. I understand you haven't eaten all day, but control what you eat. You're going to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There should be some respect, some mannerisms. Control yourself before you eat, and then try to control what you're eating. And if you do have to burp, if it does happen, because I know it's not something you control, cover your mouth or hold it in. But instead, if you just outwardly let it out, wallahi, this is disgusting. And the other thing is that when you are done praying, and I want to make sure to remind you to this today and for the rest of Ramadan as well, and any time when you are in the masjid, don't raise your voices in the masjid. Wallahi, we will finish salah here, and I'm only saying this because someone approached me after one salah and he said, can you make an announcement about this? And verily he was right about it, so I have to make the announcement. That once you are finished with prayer, if you want to have any conversations, go outside of the masjid. Go outside of the masjid. Don't carry it out where people are still praying. If you see that people are finished praying, then come back in and you want to have conversation, that's fine. But to do that while people are still praying and people are still trying to engage in dhikr, and you are disturbing them. Wallahi, the Prophet ﷺ complained about a person who was reading Quran while he was in salah, and the Prophet ﷺ, and he was trying to compete with the Prophet ﷺ in reciting Quran, and the Prophet ﷺ told him to stop. Imagine the person who's outside of salah and disturbing you. وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا. In Ramadan, if the Imam is reciting Quran and you're having conversation, you know you're going against this ayah of the Quran, that when the Quran is being recited, be quiet. Inshallah, if we can take these etiquettes into Ramadan, not only will you improve your own Ramadan, you will develop a sense of care for the sha'air of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the symbols of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَنْ يُعَذِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. That once you respect these symbols of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a sign of taqwa in your heart. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who benefit from what we listen to. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا يا رب العالمين. اللهم بلغنا رمضان اللهم بلغنا رمضان اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم طهر قلوبنا من النفاق وأعمالنا من الرياء وألسنتنا من الكذب وأعيننا من الخيانة إنك تعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور. صلوا وسلموا على من أمركم الله بذلك فقال إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم ولذكر الله أكبر وأقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Make sure to come forward and fill in the gaps. There's a lot of people. Make sure the lines are straight, shoulder to shoulder, no gaps. سَوْ صُفُوفَكُمْ فَإِنَّ تَسْوِيَةَ الصُّفُوفِ مِنْ تَمَامِ الصَّلَاةِ. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تكونوا كالذين آذوا موسى فبرأه الله مما قالوا وكان عند الله وجيها. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. ليعذب الله المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات ويتوب الله على المؤمنين والمؤمنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حميده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. As Zabi announced, inshallah, we'll have Ramadan within a few days. So wait for the announcement from the masjid, inshallah. It's most likely first day of Taraweeh will be on Tuesday. We don't know, but just wait and we'll make the announcement, inshallah, in time for everybody to come in. And also, again, I made an announcement regarding iftars and sahurs.